So, Chris, we hear a lot that people are currently entering a limited amount of data into Chat GPT and trying to do some of their own prompts to
Mm,
determine jobs to be done or information about particular um, customer. And I guess that is the step up from doing uh, Excel research and analysis is to use Chat GPT. Now, what we've now brought to market is a that on steroids
mm,
and some, um, and very very hyper contextualized.
mm.
So I guess a lot of people will be, and actually it narrows the gap because people know what ChatGPT is. They can see our thing and hopefully realize, well, that's bears similar resemblance to what that model is trying to do. It's a chat
Mm.
function. But what do we say to people who would say, well, actually, I could just use ChatGPT then? Like, what's our
Mm.
response there?
Um, I think it's great that people are starting to use these tools and see the output and say, "Oh yeah, well this is saving me time in this specific instance, and I'm going to roll my own a little bit." And then what we would look to do is to upgrade them to a fully like managed and automated and scalable way of doing that same thing. I think when a lot of companies, let's say you start a new company, you might manage your sales pipeline on a spreadsheet, and then eventually you're going to get a CRM because you need the tracking and the data and the automation and the workflow and all those different kinds of things. Or you might manage your accounts on a spreadsheet, and then you buy Zero because you need the workflow and the management and the automation, et cetera, et cetera. And ours is no different. That yeah, you can take, let's say you could take a conversation transcript and paste that into Chat GPT, and you could ask it some questions about that one conversation. But now you've got to scale that across, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of conversations that you're having, and that's an awful lot of copy and pasting. When you've, I don't know, let's say you do that 50 times, and now you want to ask a different question. You can do that 50 times all over again. And this is where the scalability problem comes in. So 4.4 completely automates so many different parts of the process, the whole pipeline of the process. You can go back and forward, and ask questions, group things differently, filter by your CRM data, and all those different kinds of things. So I think if you're seeing value in what ChatGPT is telling you, and now you want to scale up, so it's something that you can do en masse, um, very very quickly and easily, and then anyone in your business can do it, and then 4.4 is the natural upgrade path.
Okay, let's take that one step further in terms of other tools that are out there that might do some of the conversational harvesting, should I call it, and
Mm,
intelligence on a conversation by conversation basis. If they're trying to profess or claim that they can include a interrogation layer within their tool, what are the pitfalls to look out for with those vendors who have just
mm,
plugged something in and not really thought about the result?
mm. Well, I think one of the things to understand about the way these models work is that when you paste something into ChatGPT or you ask it a particular question, the amount of information of what you've given it that it can hold in its head at one time is limited. Um, and as you are having a conversation with ChatGPT, its memory fills up, and then eventually, what it has to start doing is compressing the information, ignoring parts of what you've given, summarizing what you said earlier, so it has enough space in its brain to be able to compute what you're asking about now. And the and this is where a lot of these ideas about sort of summarization, these things come in. That if you have a conversational transcript, which, I mean, if you've ever read a conversational transcript from a meeting, it's full of junk sentences and signal versus noise. There's an awful lot of noise.
Mm.
So if you're just asking a plain kind of LLM and you haven't got very good prompts or very smart prompts, just summarize this conversation, then it's going to provide a pretty sort of anodyne, pretty generic kind of summary. It's not going to extract the signal from that conversation that you need. And then if you need to do that across many conversations, then you need to summarize all of them and make sort of a summary of summaries. And every time you do that, you get lossier and lossier and lossier. I think people used to do this a lot. When you do like image compression, you take a photo and you would send it to somebody. Everything's written much higher quality now, but it would get worse. And then they would forward it on someone else and it would recompress. And basically, every time you use that, the image would get worse and worse and worse and worse quality because it was trying to compress it over and over and over and over again. That is kind of what the LLMs are doing. Every single time you process something through them that they need to compress to be able to compute it, you're really losing that signal.
Mm.
And the difference with 4.4 is our entire approach revolves around signal extraction from conversations, which we call insights, and then providing very advanced ways of grouping those and clustering those and asking questions based on those. So you're only asking the system questions based on signal and not based on any of the noise at all. Whereas if you're using any kind of system that professes to just summarize conversations or summarize bulk conversations, if you've actually used that kind of system and looked at its outputs, you probably would look at that and say, yeah, you could, I don't know, say that about any B2B SaaS company or anybody trying to do this. Where's the signal from my company? And the answer is that's probably been completely lost if you've tried to compress as many conversations as we do. And that's, I think, the big difference with our system is that it's been specifically designed to do this well. And I think a lot of our other applications, it's more like a bolt-on feature. They've just added an AI feature or a summarization feature or a search these conversations feature, put very little thought and effort into it, and people don't get very good results out of it. And I think perhaps where that comes from, an idea of, well, I could just do this with Chat GPT. Yeah, you probably could, because that's about as much effort as they put in. Whereas our entire product revolves around doing this extraordinarily well, and provably so. In fact, with the different ways in our product that our product has of evidencing why it's saying the things it's doing. So it's giving you specific advice about roadmap, about marketing messaging in particular regions. It can evidence why it has said a particular thing, where other systems can't do that because they've lost all that signal, all that context.
Great, thank you.